Welcome to Rock Club's record album review of Jane's Addiction, Nothing's Shocking. My name is Kevin Z, and I am a lifelong musician and music fan. I'd like to think that I've gained some musical wisdom over my 50 years of listening to, performing, and studying music from among my many favorite artists. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my Rock Club music channel, as I intend to review another monumental album each week. Now, I grew up with classic rock bands like Kiss, Led Zeppelin in Boston. I watched as new wave bands like Duran Duran hit big on MTV and television shows like Friday Night Videos. I witnessed the evolution of 80s alternative rock and hair metal and the rise of grunge. So I'll give you my perspective on epic rock albums spanning across these years. Now, I hope I can pass along my knowledge to my daughters, Sky and Ava, whose playlist includes songs from my record collection and also from my first generation iPod here. Also, folks at work who heard my playlist and they commented, wow, music has changed so much. Who are these bands? They sound great. I'm thinking Generation Z can benefit from my knowledge of these fantastic artists and bands. So I'm reviewing artists' albums in the originally formatted order as they were originally intended to be listened to. So keep in mind, these are my opinions. Feel free to agree, disagree, like, dislike, comment, send me what you've got. What is it about frontmen that makes them so arrogant, so self-absorbed, often so troubled and so hard to get along with? It seems that if they are talented vocally, good-looking visually, and also bring interesting lyrics to the table, then they achieve this almost godlike status amongst their adoring fans, but not always with the rest of their bandmates. The list of lead cock rockers is long and includes names like Jim Morrison, David Lee Roth, and Scott Weiland. Well, add to that list the name of Perry Farrell, who among his many projects is probably best known as the lead singer of Jane's Addiction. Farrell was a driven musician performing in the California punk and goth music scene throughout the mid-'80s. And when his Jane's Addiction demo tape earned them a lucrative signing bonus with Warner Brothers, Farrell made the bold move demanding credit for all the lyrics and another quarter of the music royalties for a total take of 62.5%. So much for the four amigos of the band. This created tension early on between Farrell, bassist and song co-writer Eric Avery, guitarist Dave Navarro, and drummer Stephen Perkins. But Farrell had the voice and he had the vision. He designed this cover art of the album with his then girlfriend Casey Nicoli, who tragically passed away of an overdose later on. Using casts of Nicoli's body, the two created the wild female bodies of the controversial conjoined Siamese twins here on the album cover. Released August 23rd, 1988, Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking would take the alternative rock world by storm, eventually introducing the rest of the United States to this West Coast powerhouse. With an album combination of songs that hit heavy like a sledgehammer and others that contained acoustic touches of magic, the band garnered enthusiastic comparisons to established rock bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. The album opens with an Eric Avery bass line, then what sounds like a match being struck, lighting a can of whoop ass as the band kicks in to the song Up the Beach, blowing your speakers and leaving your hair standing on end. Wow. Absolutely massive sounding Stephen Perkins drums. There's a face-melting guitar work by guitarist Dave Navarro and cool digitally delayed and echoing chant by Perry Farrell. Quite the intro to the album. Track 2, Side 1, was the third single released off the album and begins with a sweet Navarro acoustic fill. Of course, I'm talking about Ocean Size. Perry counts in 3, 4, boo. Huge sound that rocks you to your foundation. What's really great about this tune is the band's use of dynamics. They alternate between soft acoustic strum sections, then into this huge wall of sound with face-melting parts. Farrell uses a digitally delayed effect on his vocals, and he's able to manually manipulate his vocal runs. I watched him perform live at the August 1st, 1991 Lollapalooza Festival on Harriet Island in St. Paul, Minnesota. Farrell was manipulating what appeared to be a rack-mounted digital delay effects module next to him on stage. Perry dreamed up the idea for Lollapalooza, a summertime outdoor alternative rock festival. And back then, Jane's Addiction was the headliner with other great bands like Nine Inch Nails, Susie and the Banshees, Living Colour, and Rollins Band, to name a few. I was standing in the crowd with my dark Doc Marten boots full of mud. I had a beautiful blonde on my shoulder so she could get a better view of the stage. Wow, what great memories. Track 3, side 1, Had a Dad. This is a funky rocker. Perkins and Avery form a tight rhythm pocket, and Navarro chugs along with a sweet guitar riff. There's this fantastic tribal drumming by Stephen Perkins in the bridge section. He's all over the tom-toms. Perkins likes to play ahead of the beat, and it gives the song good energy. And Farrell sings about having a dad who leaves the family and doesn't come back. Now there's an inspiration for a song. Track 4, side 1, Ted Just Admit It. It's a psychedelic and deeper track. It opens with the rhythmic section of Perkins and Avery laying it down on bass and drums. Then they throw in a recorded interview track of serial killer Ted Bundy. He was all over the news during this mid-'80s time and was on death row in Florida, awaiting execution for the murders for a number of young women. Perry chose to use Ted as the topic for his song, and he gives us his opinion in his song lyrics, quote, "The news is just another show with sex and violence," unquote. Track 5, side 1, Standing in the Shower Thinking, again features the grooving rhythm section of Perkins and Avery. There's a fantastic guitar solo by the young guitar slinger Dave Navarro, who would later go on to play guitar with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He also starred in an MTV reality show with his then gorgeous girlfriend Carmen Electra, with whom he later married he was married to her for a couple of years. And also he became host of a long-running television show called Ink Master. You can check those out. Side 2 opens with the love song Summertime Rolls. It opens again with the melodic Eric Avery bass line. Add in some cymbal swells by Stephen Perkins and Perry singing in this sort of lullaby way, and you have an endearing tune. Me and my girlfriend don't wear no clothes, you know. Her nose is painted pepper sunlight. Track 2, side 2, was the second single released off the album, the epic tune Mountain Song. This song was an alternative rock anthem in the late 80s. It rolls over you like a rock avalanche with its massive power. Navarro's digitally delayed guitar solo is a masterpiece. My college band used to cover this song, and I, as a drummer, would play the tempo of the song based on our lead guitarist hitting his delay pedal and striking a chord, and then I'd hear its delay timing, then I would count in the song. It was one of my absolute favorite songs to play. Track 3, side 2, Idiot's Rule. It's this funky jam. There's a guest musician playing as part of the horn section trio, which was none other than Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on this tune as well. Track 4, side 2, is the first single off the album and a huge hit for the band. The track is Jane Says. Navarro plays acoustic guitar, and Perkins tastefully adds in steel drums Perry sings the story of Jane, who was an old roommate of his, who fought drug addiction, wore wigs, had an abusive boyfriend named Sergio. She's now immortalized by this tune. It goes something like this. He gets mad and she starts to cry. She takes a swing, but she can't hit. She don't mean no harm. She just don't know what else to do about it. Track 5, side 2, is this jazzy little interlude, Thank You Boys. Perry's only lyrics are just that, thank you boys. A few months prior to my release of this album review, an unfortunate incident occurred with the band Jane's Addiction while they were performing a concert in Boston. Perry Farrell, frustrated with the band's stage volume, confronted guitarist Dave Navarro, body slamming him and yelling right into Navarro's face, only to be grabbed by bassist Eric Avery in a headlock, punched 3 times in the guts. The footage of the whole sad incident can be seen on YouTube. To no one's surprise, the band canceled the rest of their tour. Farrell has since apologized for causing the ruckus. He unfortunately becomes another rock frontman that the rest of the band just can't stand. Hopefully they can patch things up, but as I mentioned, there has always been tensions among the band members, and this may have been their swan song. That would be a shame. Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking, is the album that turned the band into alternative rock gods, selling over 1 million copies in the US alone. Their combination of heavy alt-rock and acoustic ballads was refreshing, and they remained an important band at the time as grunge started to take over the soundscape. Even through they've been important all the way up to their last tour here in 2024. So thanks again for tuning in, and look for more Rock Club record album reviews in the near future. Peace.